When we think of the Force, we often think that it's this mystical power that gives Force users the ability to do amazing things when they're properly trained. Heck, sometimes they don't even need to be trained with Rey. But for others, we see them moving things with their minds, jump super high, control the actions of others, along with many other amazing feats. I mean, you name it, a Jedi can probably do it at this point. We tend to think that such powerful Jedi Masters like Yoda, Windu, Obi-Wan, Anakin, they could do anything with proper training. But would you believe that Star Wars lore says the exact opposite? There are in fact Force powers that only some Jedi can do, or at least some powers that some Jedi are able to do much better than others. Some are extremely adept at Force healing, while others are able to perform battle meditation, which is the ability to meld an entire army under the mind of a single Force user. In Legends, only a handful of Jedi were able to perform Force Judgment, which is basically light side Force lightning. In the sequel trilogy, Rey demonstrates her miraculous ability to Force heal, a power that clearly not all Jedi possess to her degree, since we would have certainly seen it in the other movies. Definitely check out my video on Force healing to learn more about why I think that is. But Rey also had another Force power that very few Jedi have, and that was the power of psychometry. Now, psychometry is the ability of a Force user to touch an object and then, through the Force, feel and read that item's history. They could even see the people who handled the item, where it was at a certain point in time, and what was done with the item. We see Rey use this power as early as The Force Awakens when she touches Luke's old lightsaber, or Anakin's. She sees various points in time of the saber's history, which then gives way to other visions that she sees through the Force, like the destruction of Luke's Jedi Temple and the Knights of Ren. While those latter visions weren't connected to Luke's saber, it's undeniable that her contact with the saber begins as a form of psychometry. We see the power again in the Rise of Skywalker, when she touches Ochi's dagger. Now, I'm about to go into episode 9 spoilers, but it's been like 4 weeks now, so you've probably seen it, but anyways, just so you know. In episode 9, Rey picks up the dagger of the Sith loyalists Ochi and hears parts of the dagger's past. Rey hears herself screaming after her parents when they left her on Jakku years before, which is nothing new for us, but at the very least, it taught her that the dagger had something to do with her past. But the new revelation she has upon touching the dagger is when she hears her parents' deaths. This is new. She hears the screams of her mother, and while she doesn't know what it means in the moment, she's able to piece it all together when Kylo informs her of her past and identity as Palpatine's granddaughter. So this undoubtedly would be a cool power to have in real life, touch an object and be able to see their history. But is this the first time we've seen this power in canon? No. In fact, Rey probably doesn't even hold a candle to the skills of the Psychometry Master, who is none other than Quinlan Vos. Master Vos is a Jedi Master that we can see during the Clone Wars exhibited this power very strongly. He's a master of going undercover and doing detective work because of his miraculous gift. He's able to touch any object and learn from it. He's able to do this on command, unlike Rey, who seems to not be able to control the power nearly as well. In one story, Quinlan is undercover as an antiquities trader when he touches an ancient Jedi artifact to learn who stole it and then apprehends them in a bout of aggressive negotiations. Quinlan was what you would call a renegade Jedi. He often gave in to his passions, but he really makes his mark when he falls in love with Asajj Ventress, and then falls to the dark side and becomes Count Dooku's apprentice during the Clone Wars. Asajj is able to bring him back to the light side and save Quinlan at the sacrifice of her own life. Vos later returns to the Jedi, becomes a general again, and we hear Obi-Wan mention him in episode 3 as someone leading troops. We ultimately don't know what happens to Master Vos and whether or not he survives Order 66. In the comics, Master Barr wonders if Vos could have survived, but we don't have any evidence that he did or didn't. Now, going back to Rey in episode 9, it's clear from the film that Rey is meant to be the embodiment of all the Jedi of generations past. At the end, she hears the voice of various Jedi Masters who encourage her to trust in the Force and her powers. But Quinlan isn't one of those voices. It's really of no consequence, but it would have been cool since she uses psychometry so often and has really helped shape who she is as a Jedi. I suppose it's possible she didn't hear his voice because he's not dead, but it's pretty unlikely since Luke was supposed to be the last Jedi when Yoda dies. What do you think of psychometry? Were there any other instances where you think Rey should have used it? I would have loved to see her use it again when she touches the ancient Jedi scriptures. This gives us a little Old Republic glimpse. That would have been really cool. And who knows, maybe she did already and that's one of the ways she learned how to Force heal so well. Well, hope you enjoyed this quick video. Have an awesome rest of your day and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Bestoon.